Manticore Intimidator, semi-automatic plasma shotgun. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the effectiveness of the engineer modded scope on the weapon. I'd seen a lot of people talk about them on streams, but I never saw anyone use one. I had a grade 3 that already had faster handling installed on it, so I figured I'd slap a scope on and see how it worked. Prior to shooting the footage for this video, I had never used a shotgun, and I figured if it performed well at grade 3, then I'd upgrade it to grade 5. Time to head to the range. I bought an identical Intimidator with no mods on it, so I could test the difference between the one with a scope and one with no scope. Here are the stats for the weapon. The only difference between grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the amount of damage it deals. The only way to improve upon its performance is to apply engineering mods. Scope is one of those mods. The stock effective range is 7 meters. So we'll start our range test at 10 meters, then go to 20 meters, and finally a 30 meter test just to see if it's any good for anything at that range at all. First up, 10 meters, no scope. Now with the scope. Already you can see the difference. Okay, now let's push it back to 20 meters. Probably about the furthest you'd ever want to fire, but let's see how it does. Again, no scope first. Now with scope. Even at that extreme range, you can really tell a difference between the scope and the no scope as far as the tightness in the shot group. Okay, now for 30 meters. I know it's kind of an extreme test, but perhaps it would be good for getting a little tag in on an enemy right before he's dropped to get credit for the combat bond. I don't know, but let's try it out. No scope. And with scope. The shot groups on both are probably not worth much, but the one with the scope, clearly there's more in the center, and the shot group itself is definitely a lot tighter. So after a few runs with it at grade 3, I was having so much fun with it, I said definitely upgrade it to grade 5. So here's what I did. In addition to the scope, I added greater range, which pumps out the effective range to 11 meters. And I increased the magazine size so I get 3 shots instead of 2 before I have to reload. Additionally, I'm using this with a suit that has combat movement speed, and it really helps when you're spending so much time aiming down the sights. This build easily takes down the toughest enemies with 2 shots, and it shreds anything with 1 shot that you'll ever find on a planet base. And that's with shields or without shields, no difference, 1 shot. I do have one little warning. You really have to watch your round count on this one. You've got a maximum of 24 rounds, and if you run out of rounds and you're not ready for it, well, you know. So it started out as kind of a fun project, just to kind of see how the shotgun performed. It turned out into my standard build. I'm pretty much using it all the time, every time I go into a conflict zone now. I just love the shotgun. It's really fun, and I would recommend it. Definitely need the long range, definitely need the scope. And once you get used to the low ammo count, it's really not that much of a problem. And there's ammo all over the place, even in the planet bases when you're running missions. So final thoughts. Scope definitely makes a difference, and it's definitely recommended for any build on the shotgun. That pretty much wraps it up. The rest of the video is just going to be random footage and some kill shots. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the verse.